All
All
right,
right.
economics. Commercial or economic inter-individual and inter-communal relations in communities and society are normed by God to properly function in terms of a free market. That is, according to the God-given norms for the acquisition and use of scarce resources in voluntary exchange. Any coercive government restrictions or regulations going beyond administration of actual civil justice on the acquisition, ownership, or use of resources, no matter what the intention or pretense, whether this involves money, credit, investment, production, products, distribution, consumption, buying, selling, renting, speculation, saving, labor, employment, services, wages, prices, etc., are all reprehensible violations of economic, moral, and civil judicial God-given norms, and is ultimately destructive to proper societal functioning and well-being. Sorry, let me back up. That word is not judicial. It's
Justicial.
justicial. Is
You
that what
got
you're
it.
meaning?
Civil
Okay, never read
justicial.
that word before.
Yeah, it's like an
Civil justicial.
adjectival form of justice. Civil
Yeah,
justicial.
yeah. So to give you, I'm preaching through Second Samuel right now, and pretty much anytime I come to certain paragraphs in the Old Testament, um, I just act like I know exactly how to pronounce some of those names. And
Just keep going.
yeah, yeah. And there's really no way they can tell me that I'm wrong. It's like, all right,
That's funny.
did you ask him how to pronounce his name? I didn't think so. But anyway, so couldn't do it with that word though, because I knew it was wrong. So, all right, being reformed, we believe in the depravity of humanity. And often what I hear from fellow reformed people, they're typically left of center. They're typically more progressive in their theology. They're what we would call 9.2s, whereas the conservatives would be, the 9.7 crowd in terms of confessional adherence. They typically argue, well, we can't have a free market or libertarian society because of what we believed, because of what we believe as Reformed people about the depravity of man, right? So how would you respond to that? How would you combat that? Because you're clearly taking the opposite view based on what you just said. They would, run for the hills at the reading of that paragraph.
Well, in some ways that issue transcends the economic question even.
Right.
Even things that aren't a matter of
Well, let me
voluntary exchange. Well,
yeah.
let me go ahead and answer it, and we can
Yeah.
make it more particular for economics if we want. But I just wanted to say that's a legitimate question, and in a way, it even has broader implications. So when we say, in a way, classically, it goes back to in the United States or in America, Madison, I don't know if he was quoting someone else, had said something to the effect of, if men were angels, government wouldn't be necessary. And the irony is, right, is that it's also totally depraved human beings who act in the governmental position, right? So there's no magic.
Yeah.
There's no denaturing of sinful human nature when government is involved. People are as greedy and corrupt and self-interested and whatever
Yeah.
in government as they are in anything. And it's but that's not our immediate thought. And the reason we don't immediately think about government in that way is because we've been brainwashed.
Right. Well,
There's all sorts of Christian veneer that
yeah.
has gone over government as an institution incorrectly to keep us from viewing it as a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of totally corrupt people.
Right. well, the irony of the statement, that, whether it was Madison or I've heard that phrase before, that statement before, but the great irony of it is, well, the worst being in existence, like the big bad villain that's kind of throughout the entire story of redemption, started out as an angel and fell, rebelled against God, right? So, and so to think that, well, if we were just all angels, we wouldn't need this. And it's like, well, that didn't work so well.
Angel.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well for the angels either. Anyway.
But yeah, that's right. Total depravity is a reason to not have a monopolistic state.
Right.
If you're a reformed believer and you believe in the total depravity of human nature, that's not a reason to try to get a better person in there. Because as good as any human being can be, short of the Lord Jesus Christ, and as saved as they may be, or sanctified or whatever, they're still totally depraved.
Yeah.
They're still corrupt sinners. And that's a reason not to concentrate coercive power in the hands of people.
Yeah, that's the that seems to be what I hear. And don't get me wrong, I wish that we had better individuals in almost every single office that I could possibly vote for at every level. But it's so funny to hear Christians every 2 to 4 years say, we just need to get better people in office. And I'm like, if we could deal with the bigger problem, we could stop worrying every 2 to 4 years about how we just need to get better people in the office. Nobody should have this much authority over all of these things as these fallen men do, and women. But it is, I think it just goes back to that comment that you made. I wish we were joking when we talked about brainwashing, but that is kind of there's no other way to explain it, that good, thoughtful, otherwise decent people are uttering things like, we just need better elected officials,
I mean, and you and I, well, I suppose you did, but I became politically conscious before I was convinced of the views I have now. And so I can say with confidence that I was, and the person who believes that it's just a matter of getting the right people in the office.
Yeah.
We've been lied to.
Yeah. It's like being on a plane that's on fire and saying, dang it, we just need a better pilot. No, the plane's on fire.
No, exactly.
I could fly this plane, and
wouldn't make a difference.
Wouldn't make a difference.
It's going down.
We could put my toddler behind the wheel, and it's irrelevant. It's just it's on fire.